What's good, universe? Zavin here, once more, with a quick lesson on how to reharmonize any chord. Really, actually, how the hell do you do it? Okay, so here's the problem as far as I can tell. Most of y'all, when you're trying to come up with all your cool reharmonizations, don't know what your melody is. You may not even really know what melody is. You know, a melody doesn't even necessarily need to be more than one note. And oftentimes, it is one note. And that's the trick. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's see if I can demonstrate this. Also, let me see if y'all can still hear me. Okay, so here's the point. Yep, this is a work in progress. That's right. All right, so here's the point. So let's give an example. I'm going to use Crazy by Gnarls Barkley. Don't sue me. Everyone knows that song. Every person who's ever played at a jam session, is exhausted by it. So it's a perfect thing to use as an exercise. Okay, so if you play the chords, which are simply C minor, okay? That's C, E flat, G. Then E flat major, which is E flat, G, B flat. Clearly I'm not playing that voicing. You have A flat, which is A flat, C, E flat. And then you have G sus, G, C, D, followed by G major, right? Okay, so what do you do with that? So, yeah, live. So what do you do with that? You, instead, there's some easy things you could do, like really simply in terms of reharmonization, even technically different voicings, you know, adding color to the chords. Those are all reharmonizations, right? Like adding nines, et cetera, adding sevenths, 11s, 13s, all those nice, pretty extensions, right? So, you know, as an example, very simple example. Okay, so I just like added sevenths, I added nines. On the E flat, I actually made it into a dominant chord, so that contains D flat. But we're not talking about that. That's not what you came here for, I'm pretty sure. How to actually create like reharmonizations, passing chords in a way that is consistent. Because you can noodle and come up with random things, right? Like you can be like, all right. Actually, that didn't sound so bad. But that's, you know, that's random. It's actually hard for me not to use this principle I'm about to explain as I'm trying to noodle aimlessly. I don't even remember how to noodle aimlessly in a way. And that's good. That's where you want to get to. The point is you always know what your top note is. And that holds everything together no matter what you do. I'm pausing here for emphasis. So what I'm saying is if my top note, let's say I'm doing C minor, right? And my top note is E flat. My melody is E flat, right? Even if you added, the melody is E flat, okay? So once you understand that, now the world is yours, because no matter what bass note you pick, or no matter what chord structure you pick, you know that the E flat is actually what determines the coloration of the chord, whether it's major, minor, dominant. There's so many different varieties. And that's how you know which thing to choose. So I'll give you an example. So again, C minor, right? Okay. So the thing is, we're moving from C minor to E flat. So we want to find some motion from C minor to E flat. Here's a couple ways you can do it. Okay. What the hell did I do? Okay. Let me see if I can remember. So my thought process here, and I was choosing different melody notes, which gave me different options. But one example, I'll give you like a couple examples of what I was doing. The ones I think I liked. So let's say, yeah, you have C minor. I'm playing C minor 9 in that case. C, B flat, D, E flat, G. Okay. So that's the voicing. And I'm actually doing like E flat major 9s. E flat, G, B flat, D, F. Okay. So that's where we're moving to. But what's important is when I'm playing that C, that G note is my melody note, okay? And that informs everything, because now I can go C, and let's say I want to go scale-wise, C, D, E flat, to move into that E flat. Then you go D. Okay, what is that? That is like a D sus shape, okay? So you have D, you have A, you have C, you have E, and G at the top. So now that's like a sus 11 kind of shape. Okay, and that's very pretty. And that leads very well into that. Okay, the E flat. Okay, I also did a more of a chromatic walk up. So again, the voice leading is hitting that E flat, leading up to that E flat. So you go C, okay? And now I know that this G note, again, this is my thought process, my G note, I know that if I hit a D flat chord, that is the sharp 11, okay? I know the relationship between the melody note and whatever bass note I am choosing. And you really can pick any bass. You can get super random. I'm going to try and give an example before we get out of here of that randomness so you understand what I'm talking about. But, okay. G, then I know it's a sharp 11, so I know I can go pretty. D flat, C, F, G. You know, extra coloration, right? I could also then move to that D, sus 11, right? Woo! And then just for sake of it, there's that E flat 9 again. And I just moved up to B flat as the melody note. But it's super important. Those are just a couple of examples. And I'll give a few more just for context, okay? So we're going to this E flat. Okay, let me move from the F. So coming down, walking down, like F, E, E flat, okay? So you're here, and then you go, Then I'm going to go, let me be clear. That's F, A flat, C, E flat, G. Right. Then I move down to the E. Ooh! I love that. And that's just another minor chord, but the relationship is so pretty. So now you're going E, G, B, D, and I put the G. It's just an E minor 7. It's not a crazy chord, but the context of it works super well. So F, E, E flat. And that's just a few of the endless examples. Now, to be clear, let's use that F, E, E flat. So where the exercise, you know the exercise, where the exercise comes in is that you move your melody note, and that opens up different possibilities, even if you're just doing this movement. So instead of, if my entry note is not G, let's say it's C, because I'm, C minor, okay, I did that, C minor 9, okay, and now you could do, I'm going to give you a few examples. I'm gonna do that same move. We did G, maybe I'll do B flat. I'll just do all the chord tones in C minor. So I'll do G, I already did G. I'll do B flat, I'll do C, I'll do E flat, just to give you a context of how you can create different colors. Check it out. And there you have it. And those are only some of the possibilities. You can get even a little more out if you, I don't even think it'll make it more out, actually, when I think about it. But you can start on the 9. You can start on any of the chord tones of your previous chord, or you can start on extensions. But the point is, ultimately, what you need to know is that the glue is that melody note, okay? So the real thing you need to understand is no matter what you choose, and I'm going to end this kind of with like a random cascade of chords, and some of them may work, some of them will work better than others, but like they're all going to be held together by this common tone, okay? So here's an example. Onwards and onwards, forever and ever. Sometimes I kind of meandered and then just kind of lost the original chords altogether. You know, I was just kind of going with the vibe and the energy. But if you listen, hopefully you'll hear that the top note is what's joining everything else together. So I'm going to explore this topic more. I want you to please, if you like this video, please comment, ask your questions, please subscribe, and we can follow up with more details on how to do this. But I think this is a good beginning in accessing your multitude, infinite universe of possibilities in terms of reharmonizations. Tell me how it works out for you. Until soon. Bye.